podcast on making mistakes at www.the-mistakepodcast.com. Those three things keep me traveling about 300,000 miles per year, and that traveling gives me tons of time to observe and write about what I observe. In fact, the ideas for all three of my previous books came to me on flights, and this one is no exception. Here's what happened. I was flying home from a business meeting in Los Angeles and had just boarded my United flight. As I was getting settled, I removed my MacBook Air, iPad, power cord, and headphones from my jacket. Yes, you heard that right, from my jacket. I'm on the advisory board of a company called Scott eVest, a clothing company that makes travel clothing, including jackets with tons of pockets like the one I wear whenever I fly. The person next to me couldn't take her eyes off my jacket as I removed more and more things, like 26 clowns getting out of a Volkswagen. When I sat down, she immediately asked me about the jacket, and I gushed over how many pockets it had, how I was able to do 4 days in Tokyo with nothing but the jacket, and so on. For the sake of full disclosure, I mentioned to her I was on the company's board as well. "I would hope so," was her reply. "You've completely sold me on it. Between watching you pull all your stuff out and how you talk to me about it, I'm going online right now and ordering one." "Oh, well, here, please use this code," I said, and gave her a code for 20% off the cost of anything on the site. Floored, she proceeded to order one for herself, one for her husband, one for each of her 3 kids, and one for her assistant. She probably spent $650 to $750 in under 5 minutes. Now here's where it gets really interesting. About halfway through the flight, she leaned over and showed me a page in the Sky Mall catalog. You know, the catalog in the seatback pocket of every single airplane that sells things like automatic cat groomers and tequila holders that will get your drink down to a temperature of absolute zero. "This is the jacket I just bought, right?" she said, pointing to the SEV ad in Sky Mall. "Yep," I replied, "that's them." "Gotta tell you," she said, "you make a much more convincing advertisement than the one in this magazine." That's when it hit me. This woman just bought 5 jackets, not because she saw an ad and not because I was selling her on it. She bought the jackets based on my enthusiasm for them. She bought the jackets because I couldn't stop explaining how amazing they are. I was the best advertisement she'd ever seen, and the excitement in my eyes over being able to keep my 15-inch laptop in my jacket was enough to send her over the edge. When I showed her the 2 secret money compartments built into the inside of the coat, as well as the space for my toothbrush, she was sold. At that moment, on that airplane, I was a zombie loyalist for Scott eVest, and I still am to this day. I'd done what all zombies are trained to do. I converted a regular person into one of the flock. How many jackets do you think her recommendations to her network are going to sell? I created a zombie loyalist in seat 2B. And it was good. What zombies can teach you about your business. I consult with companies all around the globe about how to fix their customer service, which, unsurprisingly, usually sucks. The problem is, most CEOs think they're doing just fine when it comes to customer service. Prepare yourself for some frightening numbers. 80% of businesses believe they deliver superior customer service. Only 8% of those businesses' customers agree. Holy disconnect, Batman. Think about that for a second. You've got CEOs in their ivory towers, all happy and content because they're being fed BS from all their yes men. Then, on the customer service floor, you have all the frontline responders, apologizing for the mistakes the company is causing, but unable to actually do anything about them because they're not empowered. And why aren't they? Because their bosses aren't empowered to empower them. Follow it all the way up the chain, and you get a CEO who doesn't see a need to change anything because everything's fine. This is a huge, huge problem, and it affects almost every company to some extent. Unfortunately, this blindness is nothing new. We see it all the time. Just look at your Facebook feed. No, really, go look at your Facebook feed right now. I'll wait. How many scrolls did you have to go through before you found the first customer service complaint? They're all there, and that's what makes today's customer service mentality so damn annoying. It's obvious to everyone in the company that there are problems, except to the people who can actually fix them. And that just so needs to change. A few months ago, my company commissioned an infographic